How are we feeling today? I know probably not good, and I'm with you. There's an emptiness. There's a sadness. There's no Reds game today. No Reds game tomorrow. No more playoff baseball. No watch parties. It's going to be a long, hard winter, and I know we're going to think about a lot of things we saw go wrong this week. And you might be feeling despair. Maybe you're thinking, why do I even like baseball? Why do I follow this team? Why do they break my heart, and why do I allow them to break my heart? I understand. Maybe today's not the most productive day at work. It's a Friday, and you keep thinking about all those runners stranded on base. You keep thinking about the hit and run that failed in the 6th inning. And you keep wondering why Matt Latos was left in the game to pitch to Buster Posey. Those things might have kept you up all night last night, and they might keep you from getting anything done today. And I empathize. I understand. I'm not here to tell you that what you feel is wrong. I'm not here to tell you that you're unjustified in your anger. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't cry today. I'm not here to do any of that. It's part of the emotion of being a fan. But I am going to attempt to make you feel at least a little bit better. Because as rough as today might be, as upset as you are, at least you're not this person. I mean, at least you're not that, right? I mean, at least, or at least you're not this guy. Drunk Cubs fan being consoled by his buddy. I mean, number one, I could almost see his junk. Number two, I mean, look, you're not that guy. Cubs fan with this guy calling either a cab or a shrink. I'm not sure. I mean, that feels better, right? I mean, all of a sudden you're starting to perk up just a little bit. You're not a Cubs fan. You're not rooting for these guys. Now, this picture could have been taken this year. It could have been taken last year. Hell, it could have been taken really at any point over the last 104 years. I mean, aside from the fact that the Cubs never wore blue at home until like the mid-90s, and, we really didn't have color photos, for the first half of the century-long of ineptitude by the Cubs, but I think you get the point. I know the Reds failed spectacularly this week. Many guys did. They made errors. They struck out with runners on base. There were strategic missteps by the manager, but they're not those guys, right? That makes you feel better. And look, I know we're assessing blame. Manager, pitchers, players. Look, almost everybody shares in this. But at least we have the sense to blame those who actually had something to do with it. You know who we're not blaming? A freaking billy goat. I mean, look, again, I know, maybe you want Dusty Baker to be sent back to Chicago. Maybe you want Walt Jocketty sent packing. Or you want half of the players in this team sold for scrap metal. But at least we're blaming the right people, right? We're not blaming a dead animal. We're not blaming a curse. Nobody's talking about the curse of, I don't know what you would blame, but we're not blaming a billy goat. And we're not blaming some fan in the stands either. I mean, look, we can give credit to the Giants, which, all right, most people really aren't doing, but I will. Or we can actually blame the players on the field, but at least we're not going to be spending the next decade hammering some dweeb in the first row of the third base stands, right? We're not going to be phoning in death threats to somebody who was just sitting there with his Walkman trying to watch the game. Nobody's going to be yelling at us the name of some fan sitting at Great American Ballpark who either did or didn't alter the course of play. By the way, he didn't. So we can sort of take solace in that. I know it's going to be a very long weekend. I know it's going to be a long next couple of months. But just keep this in mind, that no matter how bad things might have been, we rooted for a team this year that won 97 games and a franchise that for most of us has won a World Series in our lifetime. The Cubs didn't. The Cubs haven't won a World Series in anybody's lifetime who's alive, and they finished 36 games behind the Reds in the National League Central Division standings and lost 101 games. We didn't root for them this year. Our team failed miserably. I would venture to say they choked. But at least they haven't been cursed by a billy goat, and at least they didn't lose 101 games, and at least no one's going to be able to yell at us, 1908, even throughout the course of our winter of discontent. I'm Mo Egger. You can follow me on Twitter at MoEgger1530, or you can shoot me an email, Cubs fan, mo@espn1530.com.